In this video, I'm going to talk about the Free Tibet movement and the monk who set himself on fire. The Free Tibet movement was modeled after a lot of occult movements having to do with the Dalais and the Lamas, and the current Dalai Lama and the Tibetan prisoners, and how China is using fear and intimidation. And this has been going on since I can remember. I remember being a kid and seeing bumper stickers, and it's been going on before that. You know, it goes back to the 60s and before that. Now, if you look at, even before that, the Shaolin monks had problems with the army of China and how they attacked the monastery and how they held them down so famously. Now, I'm going to start with the Roman Empire. I'm going to start from Augustus, and I'm going to go, I'm going to read you some of the names from my notes that are important. So you got Augustus, then Tiberius, then Gaius, which is Caligula, Claudius, Nero, Ilius, Vindex, Clodius, Macer, Galba, Niphidius, Sabinus, Otho, Vitellius, Vespasian, Titus, Domitian, L. Antonius, Saturninus, Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antoninus, Pius, Marcus Aurelius, Ovidius, Cassius, L. Versus, Commodus, Pertinax, Didius, Julianus, Septimius, Severus, Pesinius, Niger, Clodius Albinus, Antonius, and then Geta, then Marcinus, then Didymenius, and then Elagabalus. Then you got Silicus, you got Uranius, you got Gillis Maximus, and Verus. So these guys are named after planets. A lot of it's in their names. Like they stole the idea, the names, the structures, the army formations, all from ancient Egypt. Servius Alexander, Elsius, Zalestosius, Taurinius. Now you get to 235 to 238. You get Maximus, Thrax, Magnus, Cortinius. 238. Gordian 1, Gordian 2, Pupinius, Balbinius. Gordian 3, Sabinanius, Philip the Arab, you can imagine why his name is that, Pactinius, Iotapinius, Silbanacus, Sponsinius, Philip Ionardisius, Julius Priscus, Aelius Valens Licinius, Herennius Etruscus, Hostilian, Trebonius Gallus, Volusianus, Uranius, Antonius again, and so on. And it goes all the way to Inigus, Regulinius, Macrinus Senior, Macrinius, Anur, Quitius, Piso, Valens, Febulista, Musius, Amelius, Memor, Aurelius, Celsus, Saturninus, Claudius II, Censorinus, Quintilius, Aurelian, Domitianus, Urbanus, Septimius, Phromius, Philisimus, Vabalus, and then you get the Gallic empires and emperors in 260. So look at how all these guys are stabbing each other in the back, all this political succession, all this turmoil, all these elections in the Senate, and the old Roman senators, and the countless so this is the era of the Gallic emperors before Tacitus. You get Postumus, Lelinius, Marius, Victorinius, Trechicus the first and second. Then you get Faustin, Tacitus, of course. Then Florinius, Probus, Bonosus, Proculius, Saturninus, Carus, Nimernus, Carinus, Diocletian, and then you go on to Domitianus and Aurelius Achilles, and then Eugenius, the Maximus Hercules, and on and on. So you get all these Arabs, and you got Greco-Roman dictators, and you got all kinds of, all the way to Constantinus, the first Chlorus, then Galerius, Maximus Dias, Severus, Maxentinius, Domitius Alexander, Licinius, Valens, Martinianus, Constantine I, Calocarus, Constantine II, Constans I, Constantinus II, Magnetius, Nepotien. I wonder if Nepotien practiced nepotism. They all did. Now, Vetrenio, Silvanus, Julian, Jovian, Valentinian, Firmus, Valens, Procopius, Marcellus, Gratian, Valentinian II, Theodosius the Great, Magnus, Maximus, Flavius, Victor, Eugenius, of course. Then you get the Western Empire, and then the Eastern Empire split, and the Constantine's guys went with the Western Empire, and then it goes on to Valentinian, Avidius, Majorianus, Avernius, Romanus, Glycerius, Julius Nepos, and so on. And then you get the Eastern Empire, Cratius, Theodosius, Marcian, Leo I, Leo II, Zeno, and then you go all the way on, you get Tiberius in 578, and it goes on and on, Constantine III, 641. So, and of course you get the Azarian dynasty, and then you get the Macedonian dynasty. Okay, and it goes on and on and on. And I'm running out of time, so I'm just going to go through, skip all the way to 1449, when you have Constantine the 13th. And that's where this chart ends. Before that, you have John the 13th. So, you have kind of Antichrist characters in numerology, and you have the globalist idea in Rome. And what do you see on this picture here? You see the pyramid symbol. You see the symbols of Japan. How they use the specific Asian, the Eastern lodges, how they use that light. You see the sacrifice through fire. You see the symbols, the Asian symbols being, the Asian twist of the pyramid, with the sun behind it, the rising sun. So these are the Sun Temple. They're trying to battle evil. They're trying to stick up for the good guys and trying to bring a balance in the world. And it's the same idea that the Roman Masons and the English Masons practice. Remember Charlemagne and all that? You had the Holy Roman Empire versus the Roman Empire, then the Eastern Empire, and how the Constantines at first were in the Western Empire, and then you see them in the Eastern Empire, in about 641. So you get, well, in 578 you get Tiberius II, was also known as Constantine. And this is also symbolic, and it also has a lot to do with, Cleopatra, and how you have the Macedonian dynasty in Rome, and how her affair with Julius Caesar, and how he was killed over the statues in Rome that were Egyptian gods. And it has to do with, it's similar to why they killed Nefertiti, is the cult who really controls the government, who is in bed with the bankers and are in charge of the banking system as well. They make sure things go their way. So, a lot of the names I got from RomanEmperors.org is I always give credit to where credit is due. Let's see. Now, so I say the Tibetans have suffered enough. I see a lot of persecution all over the world. I had to touch on the Free Tibet and the Dalai Lama and how it ties into Hinduism and Buddhism and Taoism and the different factions, and how it ties into Kung Fu and the occult symbolisms of Egypt, and how this is very obvious that the Asians are practicing the war arts of ancient Egypt, and they applied it through hand-to-hand combat versus the Europeans, who applied it more through broadswords and more through, they had different fighting arts during the time, different fighting methods. Everyone had their way of fighting, and it all goes back to the ancient war temples of Egypt. Thank you.